Reverend clergy, honored guests, friends and family, I stand with you today as both a representative of the Armenian National Committee Eastern Region and as a grandchild of Armenian genocide survivors. I am honored to be with people of good conscience today as we commemorate the 102nd anniversary of the Armenian Genocide and pay tribute to our holy martyrs. The 1.5 million poor souls whose only crime was to be Armenian Christian citizens in the Ottoman Empire. People who were persecuted for centuries because they were different. People who were finally uprooted and forced to march to the Syrian desert with no food or water and subjected to horrific attacks en route. Many wondered if our just cause would remain relevant after we turned the corner on the Armenian Genocide Centennial. Well, we are now 2 years past the 100th anniversary and our cause remains vitally important. It is our solemn duty to continue to fight for recognition of the Armenian Genocide, reparations from the government of Turkey for this crime against our people, and restoration of our property and historic lands. Despite his many promises to do so, President Obama consistently fell short of using the word genocide during his 8 years in office. Hoping to resonate with President Trump, the ANCA worked with the leaders of the Congressional Caucus on Armenian issues to send a letter to the President with 84 co-signers, urging him to appropriately mark April 24th as a day of American remembrance of the Armenian Genocide. We would like to thank those 84 co-signers, including 10 from the state of New York, who responded to the outreach of thousands of activists and community members. I would also like to recognize the state of Wyoming, which became the 45th U.S. state to recognize the Armenian Genocide, and they only did so a few days ago. While it is our sincere hope that the 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump, will have the moral conviction to properly recognize the Armenian Genocide tomorrow, he remains a wild card. It is unclear whether President Trump will even issue a statement on the Armenian Genocide tomorrow, though it has been a long-standing tradition for U.S. presidents to do so. We can only hope that he will stand on the side of the truth and stand with us. The fact that he was one of the very few world leaders that offered congratulations to Turkish President Erdogan after he greatly increased his powers in a much criticized referendum vote 1 week ago today does not bode well for us. Turkey is falling deeper into authoritarian rule, and President Erdogan seems to be the latest political strongman that our president has become infatuated with. Genocide unpunished leads to genocide repeated. An unrepentant Turkey has aided ISIS and Al-Qaeda forces in destabilizing Syria and laying waste to its historic Christian communities. Atrocities and desecrations abound, and yet there is no moral outrage or call to action from the world's superpowers. Only the usual geopolitical tug-of-war in the Middle East. The ANC worked with Congressman David Trott to introduce a bipartisan anti-genocide resolution, House Resolution 220, on March 22nd. This resolution stresses that proper commemoration and consistent condemnation of the Armenian Genocide will strengthen our international standing in preventing modern-day genocides, as well as war crimes, crimes against humanity, genocide against Christians, Yazidis, Muslims, Kurds, and other vulnerable religious and ethnic groups in the Middle East. The actions of Turkey and its closest ally, Azerbaijan, continue to threaten Armenia's safety today. Since 1994, Turkey and Azerbaijan have maintained a crippling blockade on Armenia's western and eastern borders, yet there is no international condemnation of this act. Azerbaijan's President Aliyev continues his warmongering ways with repeated ceasefire violations along the lines of contact, the most blatant and deadly being last April's 4-day war. Sadly, our U.S. government refuses to place proper blame for these attacks, choosing to not single out the aggressor, Azerbaijan. It brings to mind the quote from Irish statesman Edmund Burke: The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Instead of our government calling for an artificial even-handedness where they ask both sides to respect the ceasefire, they should condemn Azeri aggression, which includes human rights atrocities and war crimes against their innocent victims, which have been documented in detail by Artsakh Ombudsman Rupen Melikian. His public report on the Azeri attacks against the civilian population of Artsakh is truly appalling. The only long-term true resolution of this conflict will be a negotiated settlement where the Republic of Artsakh has full representation at the negotiating table. I hope all of you have seen the Armenian Genocide era film, The Promise, which premiered nationwide on Friday, and that you brought your non-Armenian friends with you to the movie theater. The film has caused such consternation within the genocide denial community that they have organized campaigns to prevent the viewing of the movie in Massachusetts, Illinois, Wisconsin, California, Texas, and Canada, to name a few places. We have received numerous reports of movie theaters being sold out, only to find that the tickets are being returned for a refund just before showtime. This is clearly an organized campaign to prevent people from viewing the movie and to also weaken its box office numbers to shorten its run in theaters. Please be on the alert for this and counter it by physically going to the theater to purchase tickets instead of directly relying on online movie reservations. And if you see this happening, please report it to the ANCA offices. We're working with the producers and director of the movie to try and take action against this. In closing, as you can see, we have a lot of work ahead of us. Our foes are numerous and well-funded. We have been fighting an uphill battle for 102 years, but we will continue to fight for our holy martyrs. We will persevere. We will continue to fight for justice for the Armenian nation. We will continue to press for recognition of the Armenian genocide, the return of our historic lands to make Armenia whole and sustainable again, and for reparations for the crime against our people. We need your help to continue this fight. As a grassroots advocacy organization, we are only as strong as our constituent base. Each and every one of you needs to get involved and to serve as a voice of morality, as a voice for justice, and as an advocate for the Armenian cause. I hope you'll join me for the next 100 years.